All right, everybody, welcome to another edition of SWAC Smoke, episode number 38. Man, we're getting up in these numbers, getting closer to 50. Um, might have a little party when we hit 50. See what's up. But I'm your boy C Wells. We got DJ in the house as usual, and we're gonna bring y'all another edition of SWAC Smoke. Man, how you doing today?
Pretty good. Pretty good. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing good, man. As my cat walks across the screen, I got a baby jaguar in my house. You know, I can only do it one way. We got Los J in the house. You ate yet, DJ? Cause
Not right now.
we gonna make it happen. We got a lot of stuff going on. I guess Los J got some things he wanna get to as well. So you know he always gonna bring us something to keep us on our toes. So you got anywhere you want to start at?
I mean, let's go and start with the big news out of Tallahassee.
Oh man, yes. So FAMU AD step down interim named. Have you heard anything about that?
Nothing other than an article came out saying that, when they signed that contract without the SWAC commissioner's permission, he violated, conference rules. That's the only thing I heard thus far.
So basically, he was asked to leave because they in if let me start over in case you guys don't know, which I don't know how anybody don't, but there's a lawsuit going on right now. FAMU and Grambling both signed national broadcasting deals for sports, football especially, and the SWAC has in their bylaws that you cannot broker national deals. Now you can have a regional deal or a local deal, but you can't have a national deal outside of the league's permission because you know the SWAC pretty much has a deal with ESPN. So that's big news, man. AD stepping down, making moves on, I guess, on his own. You know, but that's big news right there. So we'll see, because we'll see what kind of impact that has on FAMU's athletic department.
I hope that whoever fills his shoes could keep it trending upward. I feel like their program was trending upward. I wasn't in the middle of their athletic program, but from what I seen, to me, it looked like it was trending upward. I know Coach Simmons, he let off some tweets. He is showing his support for the AD, and just from watching, I forget the name of that show, the one that was on ESPN Plus that followed them around.
Oh yeah, I can't.
Yeah. But I mean, even watching that, Why Not Us? It's called Why Not Us. But just looking at that, I felt, like the AD really cared about FAMU and the student athletes. So best of luck to him. Best of luck to the school. Man, I hope they get it sorted out because FAMU is trending upward, and I hope they continue to trend upward.
Yeah, I would. I look at a lot of stuff FAMU's been doing, athletically. And I think they were one of the programs in the conference who was, like you said, trending upward, doing a lot of great stuff in all aspects, on the field, off the field, social media and all of that. I thought FAMU was one of those programs that I would never have to worry about. So hopefully they could keep it going. What's up, Big Thrillo? Glad to have you in the house as usual.
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully, I hope they can keep things going, because sometimes making the athletic director change can really shift the focus and trajectory of your program. I think most of us have had that problem at our schools before. So, the athletic director is a thankless job. It's a tough job, but it's a job that you have to wear many hats, especially in the SWAC. You don't have a big department. You got to wear many hats, and if you can get the program going right, then that's somebody who you really need to keep around. And if you lose a guy, then you need to replace him with somebody good.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing we can say is stay tuned. Like they announced the interim guy, but I just hope that Coach Simmons stay put, for now, and the rest of the athletic program. So, like I said, good luck to all parties involved.
Yeah, it's one of those situations. Let's kind of touch on the suit itself. How do you feel about the lawsuit itself?
Man, I don't know. I'm kind of the person like the rules are rules. You know what I'm saying? I might not like it, but I just feel like those schools should abide by the rules. As far as the promotion and them, signing the deals outside of the conference, uh, so he wasn't let go because of that. They wasn't renewing his contract as far as. You get what he's saying on that one?
Yeah, but I mean, basically what he's saying is they chose not to renew him, but it's maybe the wording of the way the news came out, it seems like he like they had an issue and he was let go. So I don't know if the wording of it, the way the announcement came out, is different than what this comment states. But it's a situation I still want to keep my eyes on because it sounds it still sounds a little fishy. So I just, hopefully it's something we can get some more clarity on. I haven't seen anybody say anything otherwise, but a lot of people are celebrating Hope and FAMU has athletic demise, which I don't understand. But
Yeah, that's crazy.
we talked about that. We've talked about that a lot. On the field, trash talk is all good. Off the field, it doesn't really make sense. This is my thing. If it's a contract thing, then I don't know if they couldn't agree on anything, but
Yeah,
I think to me it's just the wording, of his departure is what makes that's what makes a headline. So if it's just a we couldn't agree and we both part ways amicably, then that's cool. But the way that it was worded, it sounds really, really fishy. So hopefully, we can kind of get some more clarity on that. And like you said, just best of luck to FAMU. Hopefully, their athletic department can continue to go and flourish.
so like Los J is asking, I think he was asking me how did I feel about it. I mean, I don't know how other conferences do it, so I'm kind of don't want to really touch on it too much. I don't know if it's right or wrong per se, but um, what is the penalty for it?
That I haven't seen a penalty yet.
Yeah,
I just know that the league is talking. They saying they may countersue. So I'm assuming the penalty is obviously termination of those deals, maybe
yeah,
some fines, But other than that, I don't think it's gonna be too much. Because I really don't. I mean, I understand, that you have rules and you shouldn't go outside your rules to make a deal, But I don't think this is something that needs to really be too big. It's something that should be settled between all parties in a meeting somewhere. And get this settled and move on. I don't think this should be a lingering thing.
yeah. All the negative publicity is if we don't have enough. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, we don't need headlines for that.
Yeah, and it's a lot of outside entities that want to see the SWAC go down
Yeah,
for whatever reason. So we don't need to give them any ammunition because they may not know the backstory of this. The headline says a lot, and like they say, perception is reality, and to some people,
yeah,
and seeing this can make people think that the league is on shaky terms. And
yeah.
I've seen some people actually say some things like that, which to me is just ridiculous. But this is something. Hopefully, they can get it resolved and move on. I mean, I appreciate maybe I appreciate being able to have those options, but you still got to go through the conference rules.
Yeah, so maybe this situation forces the conference to maybe amend some of the rules. Maybe something positive comes down the pipeline from it. But like you said, let's not blow it up now.
Yeah, if this, like you say, if this leads to other, other opportunities for broadcasting, which I feel like we should have a couple
Yeah.
different uh, avenues for streaming your games, then I don't see a big problem with that because I don't really see this eating too much into the ESPN deal, which I still think that deal needs to be a little bit better. ESPN still gotta step up to the plate a little bit more. But if this leads to something, then we'll see.
Switching gears a little bit, but keeping it on change. Um, I mean that's fine. I'm sure
So
they'll strike something up between now and then, probably with ESPN. If we keep trending up, ESPN gonna want to strike another deal.
and I will say before we move on, um, the SWAC probably has one of the best deals in FCS because I think it's the Colonial and the Big Sky. They fans hate their TV contract. I've seen it many times. So we fuss about being on ESPN plus ESPN3, but a lot of those schools don't even have that as a deal. So we hopefully, like you say, ESPN sees by 2024 we could be then you know continue to risen a little bit more, and maybe we can use that as some negotiating leverage.
So what you think about this Howard business? I mean, what we gonna do with the MEAC? Period.
I,
It's done.
unless they dip into D2, which is a 4-year transition, they're done. I mean, I don't see how they can continue to use tape and band-aids to hold this league together. Everybody's bolting. I heard there's been rumors for years that Delaware State
Yeah.
might leave. So if they were to leave, that leaves you with 4 football schools, and that's you need 6 for a conference. So if they lose one more team, this conference is dead. So I'm sure the teams who are remaining are exploring their options, but it's telling that you had so many teams leave in such a short period of time. So that really speaks to what's going on in that league behind the scenes. Yes, these are opportunities that these schools feel are better. I don't really see other than maybe distance or whatever, but I don't see what's so much better for you than the conference you were already in. So I just it's baffling to me to see so many schools go to those leagues.
Let me ask probably a crazy question, but what would it take to start a new conference?
Um, at the FCS level, in
Yeah.
it,
If
um, basically it just takes. I think it just takes having 6 teams. You put together your teams and you have your bylaws and stuff. And I mean these leagues are already we already FCS teams, so I don't think you have to worry about um any transitions or anything like that. So I think it's just being able to get a group of people together and file for it. So I mean when you look at the A-Sun and the WAC coming back as an FCS program, FCS conferences, I don't think it takes too much. So um,
yeah,
nothing stopping nobody, but like they say, air and opportunity.
I like that comment, and you know, I I really feel like all them teams that's leaving that conference, if something is going on with the MEAC, I feel like we can get enough people together and just create another conference. If the MEAC is just that bad, start from scratch and create another one. But all of these schools, like you said, going into these other conferences, RIP to them schools and the hype and all of the things that make HBCUs special, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Now I'll put it like this on a athletic tip. Okay, North Carolina A&T is probably one of the top athletic programs in any sport in Division One, PWI, HBCU, whatever. So yes, I understand they're an attractive option for everybody's conference. Now, how they compete in those conferences from this point on is up in the air. But Howard doesn't really bring anything other than academics. Now, I don't really see the benefit of adding them to a conference. They're not going to bring any great program as far as football or basketball goes. So, I think it's just like, let's snatch these up, and make a, and weaken a HBCU conference. So Tennessee State, they may be on the clock. I mean, they've turned down the SWAC so many times or whatever. So maybe they looking for an avenue to jump somewhere else. So I don't think the dominoes are done falling.
Man, I hate to see it, but there's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah, it's just it's one of those things that you really probably, I never thought I'd see it happen.
Yeah.
The MEAC, they've always, at least on the outside, had that image that they were pretty strong and secure. And now, when A&T was thinking about leaving, nobody else was talking about really leaving. Everybody kind of went at them when they left, and then it's like all of a sudden everybody, falling behind them. So it's something going on behind the scenes that makes it so easy for teams to want to get out of there. Losing 5 teams in like 3 or 4 years is a death blow to a conference. So if they lose one more, then it's over. And like they said, RP Celebration Bowl, SWAC gonna have a lot of things to think about moving forward.
Yeah, it sucks, and I don't even honestly. It's hard for me to keep up with those schools after they. Once it started breaking up in the MEAC, first I wasn't keeping up with A&T no more. Now especially Hampton too. And then you got who else left? Howard and another team left too, right?
Well, yeah. Then you have Fam and Bethune. So
But that came over to us though,
yeah.
so
Oh, you just
that's
talking about?
fine.
Oh,
I'm
you
talking
just
about
talking
just
about?
keeping up with the
Oh,
MEAC and those schools that went to PWI conferences. Like we don't even know what they're doing.
it's just those three.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you want to keep it 100, they don't want you there. They fans don't want you there. I mean, let's just keep it real. I've read people. Why are we bringing in Howard? What do they bring to the table? Why are we bringing in Hampton? It's like they don't want you. They look down on your program, but you running to that. And I think that's the part that kind of confuses me. Why run to somebody that don't really want you?
Man, it's crazy. I mean, we could talk in circles about it for days. It's just, I guess it's something to just keep watching because something the rest of the conference got to dissolve. So I don't know what big worm gonna do up there in Norfolk.
Yeah, that's a program that I'm really anxious to see what they're gonna do. Like I said, I don't know if they are attractive to any of those conferences, but I think between them, North Carolina Central and South Carolina State, somebody's gonna leave out of those three. I know somebody is gonna be gone at some point. So if this league is on its last legs, I honestly I don't see I don't see other than deal with with ESPN. I don't see why the Celebration Bowl has to end. I mean you can still have a bowl game if a team don't qualify for the playoffs. So um, I think they're gonna find an avenue to make it work. I mean it's still a lot of money on the table, so we'll see.
Can you do a SWAC super conference?
Yeah, I think you can make you a big enough conference where you can have two. Let's say you take 16. I don't know if we could be able to get to that, but I think you could get there and have 2 8 teams, you know, divisions or whatever and use the pod scheduling system. It's a lot of minutia in there, but it's possible. I mean, the WAC did it in the '90s. They had 16 teams in that league. I mean, it wasn't able to sustain because of the distance, but did with this you could have two because I don't think the distance would be as bad.
Because they already used to playing each other. It would be like the MEAC is, they side and the SWAC is they side. You might have one opponent out of the other side a season. You know what I'm saying? So it really wouldn't change a whole lot.
Yeah, and I don't have any problem with that if they can make that work. then you bringing in teams that everybody already familiar with, and you're making it easier for them to kind of travel. You don't have to go out west as much.
Yeah,
So I think it could happen, and I would not be surprised if those conversations start happening as people start to look around and see it ain't that many people at the party no more.
because I like to have, to be honest, I like to have Central and South Carolina State. I would take them teams in a super conference. You know what I'm saying? Especially with Big Worm up there in Norfolk. I think he's gonna do a pretty good job up there with them. They had a pretty decent season. I wouldn't mind having it like that, just to see our institutions continue to thrive in their environment, and continue to do the things that make us great and set us apart.
Yeah, and like Big Thrillo just said, when you're looking at the Power Five, SEC is going to be at 16 teams soon. So that's basically the same thing that we're saying. So if
Mm-hmm.
it can be done now, it can be done with us. And I mean, that there's no unfamiliar program coming in, and like you said, you divide it up fairly evenly. You got your eight basically. Let's see, you got the Texas schools, Louisiana schools, you got Pine Bluff, Alcorn, Jackson, and Valley. From Mississippi West, that's one division. Everybody else, other division. It works,
Mm-hmm.
and you keep all your rivalries together. That way, it don't even matter about how often you play the other side, because Southern and Jackson gonna play every year. Grambling and Jackson gonna play every year. Jackson Alcorn, Southern Alcorn. You keep those rivalries intact. So I don't see a problem with it. I like it. Looking at it like that, I like it.
Yeah,
When you break it down, it breaks down right in the middle. Travel, nothing crazy, and like you say, every year you play a different opponent from the other side, and you're good.
I think I'm gonna have to get the commissioner on email or something. I'm gonna have to shoot him something,
Oh
and if
yeah,
and if it work, he got to give me lifetime season tickets wherever I want to go.
hey, hey, that's a good reward. I mean, like
Yeah,
I said, this is the avenue that sports are going to, man. Um, people look down on SWAC schools, but I think a lot of people don't really look beyond what they already know. So
yeah.
we have to do a good job of selling ourselves as a positive entity. And yeah, I mean, it's basically SWAC and MEAC um, with the basically with the Alabama schools, and so everybody's familiar with each other, and it's not a. I don't think distance would be a huge problem for either side. So I like that idea, man. 8 and 8 is great.
I think the people that look down on it in a year or two, when they see the grass ain't green on the other side, they may be coming running at an opportunity.
Oh yeah, I mean that's it. I think that people need to be careful with jumping from place to place, because I mean, if you look at what A&T did, they they moved to one conference and now they moved to another one already. So and a lot of people are saying the Colonial is gonna probably want to split off Delaware already, talking about they want to league because they do not want to be in a league with these teams. They're losing James Madison already. So if a couple of those other teams are interested, then you're not in the league that you thought you was in. So the dominoes are gonna fall, and that's why I'm so hesitant on moving anywhere until a lot of things become more stable, because you're joining thinking you're gonna play Delaware and James Madison. I mean Delaware, William and Mary, Villanova, and schools like that. They looking to leave. So now you stuck with teams like Rhode Island, and Maine. Who wants to go to Maine?
Yeah. Well, switching the gears a little bit, the real estate agent, he making some noise.
Oh, he making deals, man. He
Hey,
is
this
he
dude
is
here,
making deals. He got his gold Century 21 jacket on, and he is making deals, man.
he
Both
quietly
sides
doing it, man.
both sides of the ball in basically one day. Two guys who really gonna help this program. And I know we always say, don't over hype guys coming in,
Yeah.
but these guys can play. And a program like that, they need that shot in the arm. So if they can give you anything, they're gonna help that program a lot.
What does that
And yeah,
mean for um yeah, Coach Eddie Robinson? I'll go ahead and be politically correct. What does that mean for your boy Ryan Nettles and those
I
guys.
I really think the ship sailed on Nettles last year, as far as I know, man. Because by the end of the season, um, Joe Owens was starting at quarterback, and that was a guy
Hmm.
who kind of came from out of nowhere. Nettles never really got it going. I think he had a couple injuries, but he never really got it going. And I think he was one of those guys who the spring kind of over hyped who he was. I mean, he still was a guy who hadn't played a senior year of high school football because he tore his knee up. So you're looking at a guy who didn't have the most experience, learning on the job, young offensive line, not a great offensive system, and everybody expected the world from him. And when it didn't happen, people started to look elsewhere. And I mean, yes, if that quarterback can do what he did in Alabama, I mean in high school at Alabama State, then yes, they're gonna have them a great quarterback, man. I know y'all Texas folks know him well, so he I think I think I can't do nothing but salute the moves that they're making.
Right. That don't do nothing but make me more hype for the season, man. It's like it should be exciting. Everybody, is expecting Jackson to repeat. And I'm not even right now, I ain't trying to make, predictions today, but I just feel like it should be a very competitive season, man, all the way around.
Yeah, I'm really excited about this season, and yeah, they got Texas quarterbacks are definitely making they roots in the SWAC, and not just Texas quarterbacks, but damn good Texas quarterbacks, guys from major programs, are stepping in. So I think that both divisions are going to be battles for different reasons. I think the West is going to be a battle because there's no number one team. Everybody's got issues, but everybody's bringing in good guys. And the East, is a power struggle at the top. And if anybody can kind of work their way into that third or fourth spot, you never know what happens. If somebody drop a game or two. So it's going to be a very exciting season, and I would not be surprised to see whoever wins the SWAC to take a loss or two. Even JSU, I'm not saying they will, but I won't be surprised because everybody's getting better.
Yeah, that's going to be, this should be one to remember. This should be a season to remember. I hope, what I mean?
Yeah, if it's any season that you can get season tickets for a school, your alma mater, a school close to you,
Yeah,
I think if there's any season to do that, this is the season, man. Because I think a lot of teams are bringing in really talented guys, through high school and the portal. A lot of people are getting good high school guys too. Quietly, the portal guys get the most love, but a lot of teams are getting 3 and 4 star guys out of high school. Not a ton of fours, but they're getting them. And on top of the portal guys, these rosters are changing very rapidly, and that's something to keep your eyes out on, man. These kids want to, they're really starting to want to come to HBCUs because I'm seeing guys as soon as they get in the portal, they like, where the HBCUs at?
yeah, yeah.
They want that. So you just got to give them what they want, and if they return with a good product, then it's only gonna keep rolling.
What else you got?
I actually right before we came on air, I saw a tweet from Major Madness, which is a college basketball um Twitter page. It covers low and mid major basketball, and they had a list of the D1 lowest basketball budget. And I know we don't really talk a lot of basketball here, but these numbers really, kind of opened my eyes a little bit. Even though I knew the numbers were low, but they did a top 10, and I think 5 of the 10 are SWAC schools. Alcorn, their budget is listed at 530,000. Now, I don't know how factual these numbers are, but this is what they listed. Jackson State, excuse me, Valley 575,000, Jackson State 675,000, Southern 820,000, Grambling 910,000. So not a lot of money being spent now for various reasons. I thought that was interesting, just because I'm always wondering about numbers. So We need to put money in our basketball programs. I mean, basketball is less expensive than football. You got a better chance of having postseason success in basketball. I think we need to put money in these programs now. People are starting to do it, but I think it's got to increase.
We not on the list.
Uh, let's see. Oh yeah, when I saw Southern, I went past y'all 830,000.
I'm gonna say, man, I know we ain't in the top. Now I know that, but
Yeah,
yeah,
I looked at Southern and looked at Grambling, and I missed y'all in the middle. But I really think that we need to start putting money into basketball. And like I said, I've said that since the basketball season. Um, the avenue for success in basketball is a whole lot easier to attain, and you can get good games non-conference at home in basketball. The SWAC and the Pac-10, where Pac-12 have a scheduling arrangement that these schools are going to come to us. So I think Southern's playing Arizona at home in a couple of years. So that's a big thing. You can't get that in football because of the divisions, and they wouldn't come to you even if they could. But I think that that's something that really needs to change. So hopefully, the basketball can get on that growth wave that football getting on.
yeah. I mean, in every sport, I think we need to do more. Academics, facilities. Uh, you know, you and I talked when I came on Southern campus for the first time. I mean, it could use a facelift. If we want to attract, because a lot of our money too comes from just student enrollment, and you get athletic fees out of student enrollment. So every student, is being charged whether they go or not. So that's other ways to get revenue, and we got to have adequate buildings and building structure and all of that stuff to continue getting students as well.
Yeah, I mean, you have to, like I said, you have to go through every avenue, man, and increasing enrollment of schools is a big thing. I know Southern is pushing to get their enrollment back up. Um, Southern is actually starting. Yeah, it's only one PWI on that list, and that's Nickel State, and they don't got no money. They just basically they just like the rest of us
Yeah,
down in South Louisiana, so they don't have any money, and they barely doing their thing. But Southern has started work on redoing their track. They just started that. I saw a couple of videos. They're tearing the track up, about to put a $1.3 million track down, which I think is huge because Southern always, they always had a great track. I don't know what the hell happened to it. So we lost hosting hosting track meets, and the Pelican Relays, which was one of the biggest track meets that Southern would host, drew really well. Hopefully, with the new track, they can get that back. So it's the opportunities and money are starting to come in. So you really have to start, like you said, doing these facelifts, man, getting rid of some of these old ugly buildings. And I think Southern's doing a good job of kind of tearing down some of those buildings. So hopefully, the school can grow and the athletic departments can grow.
we're supposed to be getting our first track at UAPB here soon. I don't know if they started working on it just yet, but they had to use a high school track or a high school practice track, and they were running track meets in the gym in the hyper at
Oh,
UAPB.
I didn't
So
even know that.
yeah, that's what was going on there. So now we just now about to get that. But when you're talking about basketball, track is another sport that you can easily compete at the highest of highs. I mean, A&T showing us that. You know what I mean? So oftentimes that sport get lost in the shuffle too. But you don't have to be Power Five to compete in track either.
Oh no, and you probably got a better chance at a sport like that because every kid runs track somewhere. I mean, every
Yeah,
almost every high school got a decent to good track program, and kids want to go to college. Kids want to continue to run track because there's no, unless you turn pro, there's no other avenue after that. So you can get those kind of kids in. So I think a lot of people, it's just being able to get kids in your program. So you have to sell your university, and hopefully we continue to do that. I know Southern's track program is making a resurgence, so that definitely bodes well for kids in the state of Louisiana, especially.
I was looking at that comment.
Which one?
Oh, nobody knows who Nickel
Oh
State is, but I think they do, man. We know in Arkansas. I know who Nickel State was.
man, it's people in Louisiana that don't know
Really?
who Nickel State. Man,
I know
Nickel State. I
Nichols,
mean,
McNeese.
you know, Nichols. If you were to list the I'll just say the PWI FCS teams. McNeese will probably be first. Southeastern, Northwestern, Nichols is last. They don't. They got a good football program now, but historically they haven't really been that good in anything. They don't really produce a lot of great players. They some cheating bastards. So
Oh man.
that's that's some old Southern hate, man. I don't want to go down that avenue right now, but they used to cheat the hell out of us in Thibodaux, Louisiana. So I don't look too fondly on the Colonels of Nickel State.
And that comment about the substance of HBCUs, like there are certain things we understand, but today's kid is a little bit different than we are. You live in a technological world. You live in, a lot of these, even the athletes, they want the shiny stuff. They don't want the old Valley weight room right now where Jerry Rice played. That doesn't mean anything to them. They want what it looks like at Alabama.
Yeah, and the kids, a lot of these programs, high school programs, have some great facilities now. Probably
Yeah.
some better than SWAC schools.
Right.
And I'm not trying to throw no shade at nobody,
Yeah.
but I live I live outside of Baton Rouge. There's a little town, well, it's not little anymore, but there's a town called Zachary. It's a suburb of Baton Rouge. Their high school has the largest or second largest jumbotron in the state, other than probably LSU. Think about this: it's a high school with a huge jumbotron uh, scoreboard that was paid for out of pocket by 6 businesses in the city, no taxes at all. And they have a tremendous weight room. They have a new press box. They have a field house. The basketball team has a better gym. These kids, they win, so they expect to have at least what they already are coming from. So it's really, we really have to step it up.
Yeah, that's kind of, man, to be honest with you, my time when I was at UAPB and high school, really like junior, senior year high school, and then once I got to UAPB, if it rained or this or that, you had to go to Watson Chapel High School to practice. The weight room at one of my old high schools at Chapel was better than what UAPB had. So the facilities were vastly different in high school than at a college. So I mean, I get, like, I value everything that the HBCU has to offer, or I wouldn't be doing a show like this. You know what I'm saying? I love it. I understand it. But to explain that to the athletes that I work with right now, they don't see it the same way I see it. They don't understand that that's not a thing for them. They grew up. To make my point real quick, like when you played in high school back in the day, did y'all have practice film? Like kids showing me film of practice on their phone from high school. I said, man, do you know my high school was on VHS? Like we ain't had no cameras at practice. Like you got individual reps in practice now.
Yeah, and that's like my high school. We are in a district with a bunch of suburban schools. So every school we go to, they have TVs on the sideline to break down, the film when they come off the field, like NFL and college, So
Yeah.
we over there with a scoreboard that barely works, and they got 2 or 3 TVs to break down film as the game goes on. So you already at a disadvantage, but it's hard to get convince kids to come because they are told not to go to schools like Southern or Pine Bluff or Grambling or whoever. So it's always so much perception, man. It's tough, and for me, it really hurts to see kids from black high schools not wanting anything to do with HBCUs. That's what really hurts a lot.
Yeah. And I mean, like the comments say, we as parents, I've said it, I don't know, a million times on the show. Parents, people in the community, everything. You got to watch what you say because we all talk our trash about what we want to see from our school or what we ain't doing right. But when the kid hear that, all he hears is don't go there. We saying it as in we want to see it better, but to them it's like I don't want to go there then. So you got to be careful how you talk about the coaches, how you talk down on the AD, all these negative things we like to say amongst each other in the community. But when they hear that, they run. So we got to be speaking our schools up all the time. When we out in the community, we got to speak it up.
Yeah, and it's like you really have to be, like you said, you have to be careful of what you say and how you say it, because sometimes you can say things as a joke, but people don't take it that way. They only hear, they only hear what they want to hear, and they already looking for reasons to not have to deal with you. So if you can give somebody the smallest reason to not come to your school or to not support your athletic department or your school, they're gonna take it. And that's a problem that Baton Rouge has. A lot of people, you know, when I grew up, you didn't like LSU. That was just point blank. Period. You were black, you didn't like LSU. It was. I looked at people who from my high school who went to LSU when I was in, when I went to Southern. I looked at them crazy, like, what the hell's wrong with you? You going
Yeah.
to LSU, but kids want to go to LSU. Hell, my nephew loves LSU. I don't understand why he went to Southern, but he loves LSU. I don't know why. He loves Southern too. Now, y'all don't take it that way, but I can't understand it. But that's that's something that kids he has something that other kids don't have. His mama and daddy are entrenched in Southern University. My brother-in-law was the president of the Dallas chapter, Southern alumni for years. My sister very involved, with scholarships and things. So he was already entrenched in Southern from a little kid. So that's different than a kid who has no roots to Southern and only hearing the negative things about Southern. So it's just one of those things that we just have to fight that battle probably till the end.
Yeah. He don't like nobody.
I like him, man. Hey, I mean, I think he's a GSU guy. That's the only thing I can't rock with. But I rock with. I just never liked none of those schools. It wasn't nothing personal. It just
Yeah.
my dad was like, "You're not cheering for LSU. I don't care who you like." Shaq was playing at LSU. It's like I don't care. You're Jaguar, and that's just that's what it was. But a lot of people don't have that that system to bring that up. So you really have to be careful with how you address things, and that kind of goes to what we were saying earlier about trash talking online and in Facebook and stuff about the schools, not the sports, because everybody reading those pages are not everybody's not a SWAC person that's reading those pages, so you got to be real careful.
Yeah, that you're right. Like it's kids in those groups. They
Yeah,
might not
kids,
know it.
family,
Yeah.
coaches. You will be surprised at the people who are aware of SWAC social media. I mean, I don't have a huge following on any of my socials, but I got down there half of, you know, coaching staff follow, players follow, some parents. I got quite a few parents, follow my Twitter and stuff. So you really have to be aware of what you're saying because you can turn a person off. Somebody might have been on the fence and they read something and they like, well, no, I don't want to mess with that. So it's just one of those, it's one of those things you got to be real careful with.
Yeah. Main thing I keep hearing, uh, I got a couple guys that I talk to all the time, at work that are at my institution now, but they from Tallahassee, and they always talking Florida State, Florida State. So I always talk to them about fam. And they always say, "Well, I just didn't want to go there. I heard about financial aid, or I heard about this." It's always those things that's a going joke to us because we all experienced. I said, "Man, that's not limited to FAMU." And I explained to him, about the financial aid thing and all of that. But and his mind was already made up because he had heard these horror stories about people not getting their checks.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. You're fighting years of slander, basically. You're fighting that
Yeah,
by you're one person trying to turn the tide of somebody that's heard this from multiple people. Coaches at their high school, family members, neighbors. It's a lot of people that have a lot of negative things to say about these schools. So, it's one of those things. It's bad for every HBCU, but I think it's worse for schools like FAM and Southern, and TSU, that share cities with major PWIs. It's like you know, you and Grambling, because Ruston and Grambling are damn near connected.
yeah,
So, those, you know, fighting that battle is even bigger because I don't want to say the opposition, but where the opposition is right up the street. So you don't have that buffer of getting them on your campus, and not having anybody in their ear. It's just tough. But you got to find a way to overcome it. You can't let it get you down. So just got to keep doing what you do.
that's a fact. You got anything else you want to hit for the time?
Um, I don't think so. Let me see if anybody got anything in the chat. Y'all wanna pop off real quick before we get out of here. Because as usual, nobody eats dinner before this show, so I don't. I come home from work and take a nap, so I wait and eat after the show.
That's
But
pitiful, man. You
I
too young
mean,
to be taking naps, man.
bro, I have to, man.
Now that's a true statement. That last comment, where I'm at right now, those is same kids I'm talking about complain about the lack of culture on the campus and the lack of this and lack of that. That
That
that comment is true.
that's actually a good segue. I didn't think about this because I just it blanked. But I was on Twitter earlier today, and because somebody tagged me in something, because people were going hard on Missouri for not being relevant in the SEC, which is a fact. But Aubrey Miller had made a statement on a tweet, if on a tweet from Missouri football about having sellout stadiums. And if you guys don't know, he transferred to JSU from Missouri. And these people went ham on this dude, man. Like, he was saying that he loved going to HBCU. He loved being in front of an amazing atmosphere, home in a way. He loved being around people that want him to be there and love him, and he don't have any problems off the field racially. And these people were ham on him. It's like he's making a serious statement, and your response is, "Oh, you can't hack it in the FBS. You had to run the play in front of 500 people." It's like they can't make an argument without belittling you, and that
Yeah,
to me that's a sure sign of somebody that doesn't have the intelligence to debate with you.
right.
When your first instinct is to exaggerate and belittle, you don't even have a leg to stand on. So that was just one of the things that just I was tagged in the thread, so I just watched it and I made a couple of smart ass comments about Missouri because I think their football sucks. But I just think that's crazy that people attack a kid for he didn't even say anything negative. He just said,
Yeah, he liked where he at.
y'all won't be seeing no sellout stadiums or something like that. That's a very small statement. He didn't say the schools suck. He didn't say the program suck. He just said y'all not gonna draw a crowd, which is a fact. It's a fact. The dude plays in front of bigger crowds than they do, but people are so insecure that they don't want to, let somebody shine.
But they hate that he's at a HBCU. First of
Yeah,
all,
they hate it. And Missouri football has been known for some racial problems. I
oh
mean,
yeah,
the
yeah,
team boycotted a couple years ago. Coach got fired behind that. So you're trying to turn a blind eye to what he's saying, which is a documented fact that
yeah.
that y'all have these issues. But people love to. people love to run to those schools. I mean, hell, you know the Ole Miss situation with the rebel
Yeah,
flag and
people
everything.
still going to Ole Miss every day.
LSU got purple and gold rebel flags. You know, it's like, come on now. It's like y'all flying these at games, and
Yeah,
they calling you this and that. But on Saturday for 3 hours, they love you. Unless you transfer or
yeah.
go pro too early, then or you choose not to go to school. Then they bring it all up all over again.
He asks, how can we bridge the gap between the old SWAC and the new SWAC? Like, that's $1 million question.
It To me, it starts with understanding of each other. I think a lot of people who are new in the SWAC, they have they have what they come for. They don't A lot of them don't really want to know about the old stuff. They look at that as, oh, that's history. We moving, the league moving away from that, but you can't move without your history. You know, yeah, your history is who you are. Your traditions are who you are. So I think that the people on the old side need to be a little bit more receptive of new people, and new people need to be a little bit more receptive and understanding of why people feel the way they do about their schools. Neither side can really get along without each other, so you got to find a middle ground.
I know who he talking about.
But it's you're gonna get you're gonna get people that come in that feel a certain way and are not open to learning. You have to learn when you come somewhere. And the people who have come in and started to understand what the culture is and embrace it, they're gonna be around for a while. The people who just coming in because it's the hot new thing, when things start to turn, they're gonna leave again. So I always look at it like, I don't have a problem with anybody coming in. Now, at one point I was anti, you know, Dion fans or whatever, which is, but I'm like, if you come in and you want to be here and you want to learn about everything, then, hey, pull up a seat to the table. So, I mean, yeah, nobody's school is lacking tradition. Notre Dame is nothing but tradition. They don't have a lot of success on the
That's what I
field.
said. They ain't won
They
nothing.
they haven't won a championship since 1989. They are all history. All these schools, they embrace their past. I mean, hell, how many times on Halloween in Baton Rouge I gotta watch Billy Cannon run his punt return for a touchdown against LSU against the Ole Miss the year he won the Heisman Trophy. That's not going anywhere. New LSU people not like, man, don't show that, because them people gonna, they're gonna cuss them out. You have to embrace your legacy, especially if you're new. You have to understand what makes the school tick, what makes the program tick, and that's the history. You got to have the history.
The thing is, though, my question when he says there's no new SWAC, blah blah blah, and I ain't got to say no names, and I'm sure everybody know who it is. But how do we allow such individuals, though, to have a platform that does nothing but pretty much tries to belittle our schools and our uh, competition, our level of competition, all of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got people out here that's got actual following on social media, but all he does is try to get inside your program and infiltrate it. Like they used to send people to do with all of our groups that got strong, everything that got infiltrated, right? All the black strong groups. It seems like we got one amongst us now that look just like us, because all he does is try to make a show and just air out dirty laundry. That's your sole purpose. You're not here because you want to build us up. You're here because you want to create drama.
Yeah, I mean, well, drama sells, number one,
Right.
and I mean, it's just, I think,
Almost like a kid, like childish, bro.
yeah, I mean, I really don't know how you fix that. I mean, it's like you find a lane that works. Like I say, drama sells. People always come to the lowest denominator, but it's one of those things that hopefully you can have somebody with some knowledge that can get through to people and get them to understand that we in this together, man. We fighting a battle that we can't fight separate. Yes, we talk trash, and sometimes I think people see what we do against with each other, and they think that's the only way that it should be. It's really about unity. I mean, yes, we go at each other hard, but you at the end of the day, we got. So if you're gonna come in, you need to embrace that. Now, that's hard for somebody new, especially when the drama is what can get you going. Because a lot of people don't want to hear anything that's positive or anything
Mm-hmm.
that's on a different level. I mean, drama sells. So, honestly, if I was in the same shoes, and you ain't gonna like this, but if I was in the same shoes, I'd do the same thing, bro. Because I mean, if you're in this for entertainment and to grow your brand, that's the easiest way to grow your brand. Now that's self-destructive and it's bad for the league. But if I'm looking at it from a perspective of I'm trying to make some dollars off of this, then
I can
it's gonna
agree
always
with
happen.
you to a certain extent. If you was doing that, if you was going and doing it in the PWI land, hey, I take no issue with that. But your method of doing it to your own people, that's where I take issue with it. Because at the end of the day, you one of us. You're gonna be viewed as one of us. All skin folk ain't kinfolk, but you're gonna be viewed as one of us. So when you talking down like they do, you talking down on yourself.
Yeah, I mean, well, like I say, man, negativity sells, and
Yeah, I
it,
get
it,
it,
it's
but
just one of those things. It's like you just have to kind of, you know, it's tough. It's one of those things that it's tough to really, kind of separate one thing from the other. Because sometimes that person ain't really what they seem, but it's just a way to embrace this lane. I wish this lane, this HBCU media lane was bigger before Dion, because then you wouldn't have a lot of people who came in, with a certain agenda. So with so much newness, and this lane is still new, with so much newness, then you get you know you get a lot of different things, and people gravitate to the easiest things. So it's tough.
but let
Um,
me let me end with this. I mean, add to this real quick. On that same note, the reason I feel as strongly as I do about that is because this individual has a ton of high school players and current college players subscribing to him, right? This person is bringing those same people on. So, I mean, I get between it's a difference between I'm Arkansas Pine Bluff, Los J TSU, and we talking crazy to each other. But we both love our institution versus somebody Joe Blow from the outside coming in talking down on everybody's institution, but interviewing players and potential people to come to our institution. But every time you see his channel, is something negative. Like that type of stuff causes confusion in the heads of the people that the players and stuff we're trying to bring in. That's what I'm saying.
yeah, like I said, man, it's kind of trying to play both sides. It's like
Yeah,
you're doing a lot of things to get your group to grow, but at the same time, you still trying to, appease people who are interested in what you're talking about. It's a tough lane, man. It's just it's one of those things that I try not to, I like to stay on the side of the fence that I'm on, and that's the lane I stay in. So hopefully, if you're in in that situation, you start to understand what makes us tick, and start to embrace it. Because otherwise, you like you said, you're gonna be detrimental to things in the long run.
yeah, I feel you, Los J.
Yeah, and this I like I said, I saw a comment come up a little bit ago, and I don't see personally, I don't see anything wrong with wanting teams to win national championships. I've always been a person that understands the way that's a I mean that's a positive for your school, and I've always been, on the side if we can do both, we can get a Celebration Bowl in the playoff. Then hey, what's wrong with that? Yeah, this if it was anything that really would probably put me on that wave is people that feel like we didn't have an identity before Deion Sanders came here. I mean, we had great coaches before him, and once he leaves, we have great coaches after him, and it's just not it's not a one guy thing. So that's a battle that we're gonna have to fight for a long time.
I don't
So
have no problem with our own national championship game. I don't, but I'm one of the few. You know.
hey, like I said, that playoff battle is going to be fought from sun up to sundown, year after year, and I think neither side going to give. But it's this HBCU world, man, is very divisive to some people. Some people have an idea of the way it should go, and others have, but I'm of the mindset that whatever makes our programs grow and we can keep our identity, then I'm good with that. I don't have a problem with the HBCU national championship. As a matter of fact, I celebrated every black championship Southern won, and that was all I needed. So if you like the playoffs, hey, I'm fine with that. If you don't, I'm good with that. I don't really fence ride a lot of topics, but this is when I ain't gonna lie, I ride the fence on it a lot because I can see both sides and I understand both sides.
I'm gonna holler at Los J on this one. Now I'm gonna get out of here. But I did see him ruffle some feathers in the SWAC group when he got to talk about them quarterbacks.
Oh yeah, I saw that too.
Man, it's tough, to rank them. I think the top two would be tough to rank right now. I like Andrew Body for what he can do with his arm and his legs. Um, I think Shador has, of course, you can't deny his completion percentage and touchdown interception ratio and all that stuff either. So, I mean, as far as top two, now there's other kid that's coming in. I don't know what he's gonna do yet, so I can't put him on that list. The one that coming to Alabama State, I can't put him on that list yet. But we have some collegiate statistics from Body and Sanders,
Yeah,
and they're very close.
I, I know why Los J did that list the way he did. Now that ain't I know Andrew Body can definitely be top of the list for sure. That goes without saying. But he loved to ruffle some feathers. So putting Shador where you put him, he had a method to his madness now. But like you said, as far as on the field in competition right now, one and two are those guys, and three, we'll see what he can do.
Well, I think I'm gonna get out of here, man.
All right, well, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and hop on up out of here, and man, we'll catch y'all next week.
Hopefully, no more crazy news coming out.
Yes, no more lawsuits.
All right, man.
We'll holler at y'all.